Girlfriend, Ingafay here. Super excited to be here with you today. We are going to talk about what's next, what's now. And I'm so excited to share this coaching girlfriend with you so we can get exactly into this. So we'll see you on the other side. Hey there, Lynn. How you doing, girl?
I am great. How you doing, Inga?
Oh, I am so good, girl. So excited to have you here. We're really looking forward to talking about working your what's next and what's now. But before we get into that, girl, we want to get into your business. We want to know a little bit more about you, who you are, who you serve, and how you serve them.
Wonderful. Well, first of all, let me say thank you for inviting me here to hang out with you and your girlfriends. And I'm just so excited to be here to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Lynne Stokes. I'm based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am a personal branding coach. And I got to this place after a 20 plus year corporate career in marketing strategy and brand management and a little bit of diversity and inclusion work. And that is what my heart is as far as from standpoint of marketing. I was fortunate to work at some of America, if not the world's most loved brands, Walt Disney World, Ford Motor Company, public supermarkets in the Southeast, and finished my corporate career at Krispy Kreme. So it was my job to write the stories behind the brands that you love and to encourage you on why you should buy them. And a few years ago, I left that corporate career, sort of burnt out, unfulfilled, knowing that there was something more that I wanted to do, and went home to my sofa to think about that. And really decided I didn't want to go back into the corporate space. And as I talked to other midlife professional women, I found that they were feeling the same way that I was, that they had achieved all of their professional dreams, but yet there still was something missing. And there was something that they wanted to do, and they just didn't know how to go about telling their stories, finding their voice, and what I think is really building your personal brand. And so a few years ago, I launched my company, Stokes Unlimited, where we focus now on helping unfulfilled midlife professionals and midlife founders and entrepreneurs tell their story through personal branding.
Okay, cool. That is exciting. So you took the plunge. So I'm curious now, was there some kind of layoff, or did you just walk out one day and you just left and said, I'm done today? How did that transition happen?
I did the just left. It was 2021, which, if you remember, a lot of people called that the year of the great resignation. I really like to think of it was the year of the great reevaluation.
Right.
And this was coming off of the pandemic year. There was so much social justice. I had got hired to do a role that I loved. But in 2021, my job changed. The team of people that I worked with changed. And after working in corporate spaces for 15, 18, 20 years, I really just had the time, the desire and the time to really think about what is it that I want to do. I was burnt out. My role had changed. The people had changed. I was not getting that joy from work that I once had. And I really, prayed about it, talked to my husband, and I said, let me come home and think about and really heal and think and pray and decide what is my next move going to be. So I was blessed to be able to have that space and opportunity to do that, to walk away from a job, which is scary. Without a job, I've never done that in my corporate career, and to really take an opportunity to figure out what it is that I wanted to do, who were the people that I wanted to help, and to kind of change the direction of my corporate career by becoming a founder and an entrepreneur and a coach.
Yeah, I love it. So when you think about the type of people that you work with, can you give us kind of a background or just a synopsis of who that is?
I tend to say that the people that I work with, the sweet spot, are midlife professionals, typically women over the age of 40. Okay. They are professionally accomplished, yet unfulfilled. I tend to think that, there's that saying that we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. Yeah. But then I also wonder, but what dreams are you chasing? What is our dream? And a lot of us generationally are the first in our families to go to college, get the college degree, get corporate jobs or the jobs of our dreams, be able to buy a house in the suburbs, to be active socially, civically, in our churches, doing all the things. And we get caught up in that. And then one day we kind of realize that something is still missing. I have achieved all of these things that I set out for myself, but somewhere inside there is a dream that I have abandoned, that I've put to the back burner, and I want to do something different, but I'm not sure how to start. I'm not sure what the first step is. What are people going to say? No one else is doing it. No one else is out here pursuing their dreams. And especially if that dream is 180 degrees different than what you're wanting to do. So I know people that are in HR that really want to be an event planner. I have a friend that's in financial services. He's a DJ. There's a lot of things that we may want to do, but we're just nervous, unsure how to find our voice, how to tell our story, how to go in that direction to really build our personal brand and be, step out from the shadows and really try to find that joy and achieve that dream. And I think that telling your story, building your brand is a conduit to achieving your dreams.
Okay, I love it. Mm-hmm. So these people I know you're saying they're kind of at a crossroads.
Right.
What causes them to act though? I mean, because a lot of people are at crossroads, but they still are kind of just in their comfort zone and not willing to step out. What do you see that really encourages them or engages them to act?
Typically that decision point, there usually is a catalyst. And several of the clients that I work with have been laid off, reduction in force. And for a lot of them, they didn't see it coming.
Right.
They didn't have any idea. I worked with a client. She had been with her company for 27 years.
Wow.
So, she had her eye on retirement, pension, the whole deal. And they were like, yeah, we're reducing our workforce and sorry, we're going to have to let you go. And completely floored and told me, she was like, I never want to be in this position again.
Right.
So I've worked with people that are out of work, some of them from a standpoint of reduction in force that they didn't see coming. Some of them took an early buyout or the company was reducing and they were like, you know what? There's something I want to do. I've done this. I'm going to take the package. I'm good with taking the package, but I'm going to take some time to decide what it is that I want to do. Right. And then others, it's just the clock is ticking. I've worked with some people that, might be in their mid-50s. They sort of have that eye toward retirement and they're still working, but they don't want to wait 5 years, 10 years to start working on their dream. And they're just making that self-decision that someday is today. You know how we always say, I'm going to do this someday.
Right.
Well, I tend to think that why can't someday be today or tomorrow, even while you're working full-time or you're working on your what's now, which goes to kind of the title of what we're talking about, work on your what's next while you're working your what's now.
Got it. Mm-hmm. That was what I was going to ask next. What can you kind of explain what that means? Because I'm sure people looking at this and they're just like, okay, so what's the what next, what's now kind of thing? What does that mean?
Right.
Tell us a little bit more.
I like to think that's kind of one of my catchphrases that, I encourage people, work on your what's next while working your what's now. And what that really means is that while you are working this job, while you are doing whatever it is that you're doing, but you know that there's a dream, you know that there's a vision for your future, whether that's your retirement future, whether that's a hobby that you want to start, there is something else within you that you want to do. And you kind of have that, I'll get to it someday. No, I want to encourage people, and I work with people to coach them that you can work on your what's next right now. Right. And I believe that there are 4 steps to any kind of change, any kind of adoption of a new habit or a new skill. And that is dream, dabble, decide, do. And
Okay.
so I really spend a lot of time working with people in the dreaming stage. What is your dream? Defining that dream, getting clarity on that dream, and then dabbling as far as how do you start doing that and sharing with others what you're doing so that you're building your personal brand, but you're also working toward that dream as you build the personal brand and you work toward that future state.
So when you're interacting with these people, do you have a different plan for them based on their personality type, whether they're an introvert or an extrovert?
I do. I think that we have to find out the key thing is really sort of finding out your voice and what is your comfort level.
Okay.
I believe that you have to, everybody can't be a lion and everybody can't, you can't roar from the top of your lungs. That's just not the nature. So we do work together to find out what is the best way to build your brand, to get clarity on what it is that you do and build your confidence on why you do it, your commitment for who you do it for, and then the consistency on building a brand and how you show up. So that really falls into the fourth part of my framework, which is consistency and how you show up. So whether you're an introvert, whether you're an extrovert, whether you like being on social media, how do you get into social media if you're not on it? A lot of people don't like, are wary of social media for a lot of good reasons. But I believe that there are platforms and you don't need to be on all the platforms. Pick the one that's most comfortable. And there are ways that you can start sharing your brand, start talking about the things that are important to you so that others know what you do, who you are, what you're about in a way that's most comfortable to you so that you don't have to be doing dances on TikTok if that's not what you want to do. You don't have to be necessarily showing your face and going on video if you don't want to do. There are ways to build your brand, to give thought leadership, and to be known for something in a way that is comfortable and authentic to you and your personality.
So I know I was just curious when you think about these people making these transitions, you said some of them are voluntary while others are really forced, where they're kind of really forced into deciding what they're going to do. When it comes to a branding strategy, does the means that they got there have anything to do with how you direct them according to what they do next?
It depends. It depends because it's all about finding out what is your story. And so therefore, if how they got to this place is a key part of their story, then that can work into their personal brand. So for example, if you have worked your whole corporate career and climbed the ladder and then went through a reduction in force where you had to start all over or you found yourself out of a job, part of building your brand might be helping other people that have been displaced and telling and sharing your story, sharing your feelings, sharing your tips, sharing your tips and tricks and wisdom on how to go about surviving the mental and the emotional aspect of losing a job.
Right.
So, but it might be that you're an accountant and you lost your job, but you've got 20 years of accountant work and you want to build your brand by helping new accountants or helping people that want to break into the accounting field. And so therefore, in that case, how you got there and losing your job might not be a key part of your story. So it really becomes, we're not usually just known for one thing.
Right.
Most of us as humans are multifaceted, multi-hyphenate, all of those types of things. And I don't necessarily believe that as a personal brand, in building a personal brand, that you need to be known for doing one thing.
Right.
And so you can be an accountant that loves to bake cookies, that also is, a mother of 3 children.
Right.
And those might be all the things that you want to talk about. So you may not talk about my reduction in force or how I got laid off. It might be about giving tips about being organized as an accountant and being organized as a cake baker and a cookie baker. And so it's those kind of things that we pull out as far as like, what is the story? What are your brand pillars, which is what I like to think of them, which might be the 2, 3, 4 things that will build your personal brand off of that you can share with others, that those are the things that you become known for.
Right.
And so therefore, all parts of your story don't have to be shared.
Now, do you help them as far as their branding color and logos and that kind of thing? Yeah, to what extent are you helping them with their brand?
My focus, that's a great question. My focus starts with the strategy and the story. And it's a typical, when I meet people and you're talking, when they say, I want to build a brand, a lot of times they do start with they get the logo and the colors, and that's the first thing. But I kind of say the logo and colors are much further downstream. Really, we need to answer the questions, what do you do? What is the thing you want to be known for? Why are you the person that want to be that we should come to for that?
Right.
Who do you serve? And how do you show up? So we need to get into the strategy, into the brand tone and personality, because if you do that work up front, it makes it so much easier to then go to a designer and tell them that this is who I am. I'm bold, I'm fearless, I'm focused on this group of people. And then you can build a brand and a logo that is attractive to people from that standpoint.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So you're starting pretty much with the strategy, the how do, more so than, because I know when you typically talk to somebody that's starting their business, I guess they're not really looking at strategy. They're just really just trying to, get the colors and the logo before they even know the strategy, and then end up having to go back and revamp all of that after they do the strategy work.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So we focus on the story and the strategy because if you get that right, it helps with the logo. It helps with your social media messaging. It helps with building a website. Like you said, a lot of people will just go to a designer and I like blue and I like green, and then just go build a logo. And then once they've kind of done some of this work, they may realize that, oh, I used a cursive font in my logo and I should have used more of a Times New Roman or a straight line font. I should have been. And so we do the work first on who it is and how you want to show up before getting into those other areas of branding from the standpoint of working with a designer and that type of thing. So I am not the designer. I tell people I'm not a resume writer. I'm not necessarily a career coach. I'm not the designer or the copywriter, but I can assist and help guide my clients to getting the story so that they can create that brief. They can have the direction and the guide to work with others who are going to be bringing the parts of their brand to life in a much cleaner and clearer way so that they are definitely satisfied with what they get on the backside.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, with your experience in marketing, I know you had like a 20-year career in marketing. How is the marketing for big business different for someone that's just starting out?
Great question. A lot of it comes down to budget,
Yeah.
But outside of that, the process is still the same. When I was working on, basically multi-million-dollar campaigns, I still had to know what was the objective of the campaign. Right. What did I want the brand to achieve? So was it increased sales, increased visibility? What did I want? Who was my customer? Who am I talking to? And what pain point do they have that I'm trying to solve? So it almost doesn't matter whether you are a multi-million-dollar brand or an individual or a small business owner. You still have something, whether it's knowledge, a product, a service that somebody is waiting for you, somebody needs, and you have to show them why you are the answer to their problem. And that can work from the standpoint of whether you're trying to sell your services as an entrepreneur or sell yourself as a potential employee for the next company or trying to get that promotion. What is it about you that makes you so special that person on the other side, whether it's the other side of the conference room or the person that's on social media or the person that's going to be walking into your brick and mortar store, what is it that you have that you can put out there that makes it attractive and makes them know that you are absolutely the only choice and the person to fulfill their needs? That's what really building a brand is all about, whether it's a personal brand, a product brand, or a service brand. But I just know that the sweet spot is working with people and helping them build their personal brand, because we still do business with folks that we like, know, and trust.
Right, for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So when this is just a quick question, when it comes to somebody making that transition, especially if it was a transition they weren't expecting, mm-hmm. how quickly are they able to transition to know what the whole purpose of their brand and that kind of thing? Because that seems like that would be something that was more thought-provoking, especially if it's coming at a surprise and they're not had already started thinking through what that would be.
What I've found out is that a lot of times when people go through something like that, it becomes, especially at midlife, it becomes a catalyst where they're kind of like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. But a lot of them sometimes are like, but you know what? I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to still keep looking for a job if they need to, for financial reasons or for fulfillment reasons. Right. But I'm also going to stop and think, what is it that I really want to do? Do I really want to go back into that same type of role? Do I want to do something different? So in a lot of sense, during the fact that it might be a shaky time, it's also a key time of introspection. And so people are looking for someone that they can talk to, a coach, a guide, as far as like, hey, let's talk through this. This is what I'm feeling. I'm thinking about doing something new, but I don't know what it is. And I have a program that I work with people, and it's 12 weeks, 6 calls where we go through, level setting and really finding out what the objectives are. We go through a framework where we get clarity on what you do. We talk about your confidence, your commitment, and your consistency. And then, set people off on a path so that within 90 days, they have a framework for who they are, what their brand pillars are, what their reason for being is, and how they can use that to help open those doors of opportunity that they are looking for, whether it's a promotion, a new job in a new industry, picking up a new hobby or skill, or starting their own business.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Well, you shared some golden nuggets with us today, girl. What I know we had talked before we got on today, you were going to tell us about some kind of freebie or an offer that you had to share with the audience.
Yes, love that. If people would love to go to my website, Lynne with an E, LYNNESTOKES.com, LynneStokes.com, there will be a pop-up where you can sign up, put your email in, and I will send you a guide, 101 personal brand thought starters to help get you started on what your personal brand is. A lot of times people are thinking, I don't know much. We underestimate our wisdom. I'm not very good at this. We might feel comfortable in, our vocation or the job that we have, but you don't realize that you can build a personal brand on anything. And so this is a guide of thought starters that are things from a professional standpoint, from a relationship standpoint, from a hobby standpoint. And it really takes you through actually the exercise of looking through this list, finding out your top 10, and then, sort of narrowing that down to like your personal brand, 3 to 5 items of what you can build a brand on. And it can be things like baking cookies or managing a large household on a budget, or maybe resume writing. But there are so many things that you do that you might take for granted that this guide at lynnestokes.com can help kind of stimulate your thinking as far as, I do know a lot about this. I do have experience in this. And this is something that energizes me and brings me joy that I want to delve into further and also share with others.
So I wanted to make sure that we put this on here so they could see your website. It's just lynnstokes.com, so they can just see exactly how to get in touch with you if they want to get that freebie. It sounds juicy. I don't know why you guys wouldn't want to get it, but you see you'll see the website right here going across, so you can get in contact with her. Lynne, thank you so much, girl, for sharing your wisdom and your time and your attention today. You shared some great nuggets. I think folks are really going to want to get your guide and find out more about what you do and how they can connect with you. And for those of you that are watching, thanks again for watching. If you know of anyone you would like me to interview in the future, by all means, send me a DM or send me an email directly to inga@ingafay.com so I can get that person on. And as always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.